Coming up on First at 4, the final day of the SOAR Summit wraps up after bringing hundreds of people together to discuss ways to improve the region. Plus, remembering a leader in the community. We talked to one of Charles Housley's friends about the impact he made on our region.
And we're seeing plenty of sunshine out there at this hour, and temperatures are in the 60s and 70s. The warming trend will continue. Details in a few minutes.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News First at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Steve Hensley. First at 4, the 2024 Shaping Our Appalachian Region, or SOAR Summit, wrapped its final day, bringing local and state leaders to the University of Pikeville for a day of announcements all about Appalachia. We were hoping to go to our buddy Forbes in Pikeville. We understand we don't have that right now. So I tell you what, let's go on to our next story about London Road construction. Several businesses are experiencing the impacts of construction in London. WYMT's RJ Johnson shares how it is affecting sales.
As construction continues on Highway 192, so does the strain it puts on businesses. Cornet Farm Fresh relocated back in April, aiming to be more convenient for its customers. Owner Rhonda Cornet says people cannot turn into and out of the parking lot, impacting their sales, saying the last couple of days have been really hard for them.
So we are at about a tenth of what we were doing last week before they started and closed off of our, when they closed off of our lane to be able to turn in here. We literally are at about 10% of what we would normally do on a normal week.
Cornet says getting in and out of the parking lots is also a struggle for delivery trucks, saying they hope construction does not impact them in the long run. In London, RJ Johnson, WYMT Mountain News.
During this time, London officials are urging folks to support local businesses. Now, let's go back to the 2024 Shaping Our Appalachian Region Summit. It was held its final day today. It brought local and state leaders to the University of Pikeville for a day of announcements all about Appalachia. WYMT's Buddy Forbes is now live in Pikeville to sum up the summit. Buddy.
That's right, Steve. Hundreds of attendees are now back on the road heading home after what has been described as an impactful and impressive 2024 SOAR Summit, with discussions ranging from new partnerships to new funding for the region. It was a gathering all about growth.
They are seeing movement and momentum, and that's what people need, not just hope, but action and ultimately improvement.
The Shaping Our Appalachian Region Summit closed out its final day with a list of investments toward infrastructure, education, and economic development throughout the region, with guest speakers ranging from Congressman Hal Rogers to Appalachian Regional Commission Federal Co-Chair Gail Manchin.
All of these checks are about people.
Between the money going to the Mountain Parkway and other funds, we talked about $500 million of investment.
Governor Andy Beshear says bringing local leaders and community members together to celebrate shows how much progress the region has made during the last decade.
What we've got to make sure we're doing is always looking forward. We've been through a pandemic, we've been through terrible flooding here in the east. The downturn of the coal economy hit this region so hard. But what we now see are opportunities, are ways to move forward. Our record investment from the federal government and the state government in infrastructure has been promised for a long time, but we are actually delivering.
Last, let me say that we're here at the University of Pikeville. My wife is a graduate of the medical.
Now Beshear says that those steps toward progress do not stop just because the summit is over, but they will continue once these people get back to their home communities. And a lot of them are taking checks with them as they go, including the University of Pikeville, which received a $5 million check for upgrades to Bear Mountain. In Pikeville, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
All right, Buddy, thank you very much. A full list of the grant recipients announced at the event can be found on our website. We'll have much more about the final day of the SOAR Summit, including an excerpt from my one-on-one interview with ARC Federal Co-Chair Gail Manchin coming up at 6. A road in Laurel County is back open this afternoon after being closed for several hours following a crash. Police say the road was closed for about 3 hours earlier today after a serious injury accident at the intersection of Highway 192 and Saddlebrook Road. No other information about the crash has been released.
What a beautiful start to the weekend with temperatures in the 60s, some places even in the upper 60s and low 70s. Here's the latest right now with live pinpoint Doppler radar showing a clean sweep across eastern Kentucky, and this is going to get a break for the next several days till we get into Thursday. There is a rain chance in the forecast, but outside right now, plenty of sunshine. The sunglasses are needed if you have plans for the next couple of hours. Temperatures right now, again, 60s and 70s. Low 70s towards Somerset, 69 Manchester, Hazards at 68, 67 in Prestonsburg. Jackson, good afternoon to you. You're at 66 degrees, 65 in Clintwood. Pikeville's checking in with 64 degrees. The next 12 hours keeps us clear. We'll go to 54 by the 9 o'clock hour, mid 40s as we go throughout the early part of the overnight hours. And when you wake up in the morning, temperatures in the upper 30s and low 40s will greet you. We'll see plenty of sunshine again for the weekend, but there is a rain chance in the forecast somewhere, and we'll talk about that in the first alert forecast in a few minutes. Steve.
All right, Eric, thank you. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is investigating the safety of Tesla's full self-driving feature, or FSD. The investigation is looking into 4 accidents involving vehicles using the feature. The agency said in each accident, the Tesla car using FSD crashed after entering an area of reduced roadway visibility from conditions such as sun glare, road dust, or fog. American Paul Whelan is sharing what it was like to spend more than 5 years in a Russian prison and how he is doing now. Whelan gave an exclusive interview to CBS Face the Nation moderator Margaret Brennan. The Marine veteran was convicted on espionage charges and was freed 2 months ago in a historic prisoner swap. A preview of the interview aired on CBS Mornings, in which Whelan said he has a form of PTSD.
And it's common, you know, with people that have been in this situation. It'll go away probably over a few years, but it's hard to, you know, compartmentalize and block out that portion of what I went through.
You can hear more about what Whelan experienced when the full interview airs Sunday on Face the Nation. We told you earlier this week about the death of former Hazard ARH CEO Charles Housley. Friends of Housley say he was someone they will miss not only because of his personality, but the person he was as a whole. Charles's funeral was today in Lexington, which is where he moved following his retirement from Hazard ARH.
He's been retired several years, but at the time he was working, he knew all the medical staff at the hospital there on a first-name basis. Helped a lot of them get their practices established and careers started.
Friends Housley met in Hazard say when he moved to Hazard in 1998, he became an integral part of the community. Charles Housley was 82 years old. Coming up on First at 4, with more than 3/4 of the world's coral reefs being subjected to heat stress, we'll take a closer look at what's being called the most extensive bleaching event on record.
And a warm start to the weekend, and the warming trend continues. Details on the First Alert forecast in a few minutes.